All right, all right. We are going live on Facebook. Okay, are we live? Are we live? I think we are live, everybody. Yo, yo, yo. Tell me what you know. Welcome to the Sunshine Show. Woo! You guys, I have a super special, phenomenal, extremely amazing bassist guest in the house tonight, you guys. We have the most Bowie of them all. We have the one and only Freekbass.
Hey, what's up? How are you?
Good. What is up? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to multitask right now is what I'm doing really. Here we
Multitask,
go.
multitask.
Yes, I think I did think I got you posted on my page too. I think we're good. All right, good.
Awesome. Guys, we have a special co-host tonight. We have the one and only Quantum Bass. What is up?
What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing out there?
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, we are live.
Yes, guys, share this into the bass groups. Let's get this chat going. We're gonna have a fun time tonight. It was a nice and sunny day in Santa Cruz. I spent it at the beach. What did you guys do over there in Ohio?
Oh, definitely jealous. Yeah, we got
Yes.
got the Cincinnati connection going on here. This is I'd say you're probably like 20 minutes away from me.
Where are you at? What part of are you in Ohio?
Yeah, I'm right up north in Loveland.
Oh, wow, you're very close to where I'm at. Yeah, I'm kind of on the east side of town. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. Very, very cool. Awesome. Yeah, Loveland's super cool. We recently we wanted to like get away but not have to drive forever. So we got a just like a little like bed and breakfast kind of place out there in Loveland like over the summer, and I loved it out there. I mean, obviously cool record stores, Plaid Room Records obviously is there, which is awesome. Terry runs that place, as I'm sure you know. So it's yeah, Loveland's gotten to be the it's like a little mini Asheville almost. It's got that vibe. Yeah.
Totally. We got the river going through there. It's really cool.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
I was actually born in Ohio, in Canton, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
So it's like we're all fam bam here in the house tonight.
That's right. That's incredible.
The Midwest connection here.
Yeah.
Right.
What is up, Luigi in the chat? Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate your time. Freekbass, give us a little bit of an introduction for those who may not know who you are or what you're about.
I mean, I'm mostly known as a bass player. I mean, I play a lot of other stuff too, but that's kind of what I, with a name like Freekbass, I guess that's got to be the vibe, So, grew up and, raised in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I always tell everybody that, I'm sure I'd be playing music no matter what part of the world that I grew up in. But I think the fact of growing up in Cincinnati and Ohio has definitely had a huge influence on the style of music I ended up playing. Obviously funk, with its really rich funk music history here, going all the way back to the King Records with James Brown and Bootsy and Midnight Star and Babyface, and the deal just goes on and on. It's got a really cool history, music history and funk history specifically. So, Bootsy Collins produced my first 2 or 3 records, and he was a big, huge mentor to me, and kind of, showed me, the way through some doors that I might have, taken a little bit longer to get through on my own. And I'm getting ready to finally again, but, up until the pandemic I toured quite a bit all over the place. And we're finally, in about 2 weeks from now, finally going to do we did a couple little spotty dates over the summer, some festival stuff, but, we haven't really toured since 2020. So this is going to be our first tour. We're doing starting in Cincinnati, then heading up to the East Coast and down to South Carolina. And I can't wait to get out there again and play in front of people again. It's going to be fun.
Yes. Tell me what the name, I was looking at your tour poster earlier. Tell me, what is this concept that you got going on for your band?
What do you mean by concept? Be a bit more specific. Like, what do you mean?
The whole like the name of the band,
Freekbass and the Bump Assembly?
Yes, the Bump Assembly.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed to fit. We're just we're just trying to make people move and and bump and groove, and you know, we're like a collective of many musicians. My drummer, Rico Lewis, toured with George Clinton for 15 years. Sammy Garrett, who, you know, you see featured a lot, is she was from another funk group that used to tour all the time, named Turquoise. Nate Lewis, my guitar player, also tours with a group called Ernie Johnson from Detroit. Sky White, keyboard player, plays with a really great group. They just got off tour themselves called Foxy Shazam. And so it's like, you know, as much as it's the band, it's a collective or an assembly of people. That's why the Bump Assembly seemed like a good fit to name this group of crazy people that we tour with.
Awesome. Quantum Bass, give us a little bit of your background for those that may not know who you are.
Oh yeah, just same thing, just Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm actually kind of just stunned here that I'm even on the same feed as Freekbass. I kind of grew up idolizing you, man. Like I'd be driving down the road and I went to UC and seeing you up on the billboard at the Mad Frog. Like
right, that's right when I first started, man. That's going back in the day. Yeah.
I remember, like, just so it's just, this is an honor. This is awesome for me. Like,
oh, that's so cool. Did you go to UC then as well?
Yeah, graduated from UC.
Oh, wonderful.
So Marymount too, like a local East Side guy. So
super cool. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. So just me and my band, we were way back in the day. We were the Hill.
Sure.
We did our thing around here, and you know, I just love playing, love doing my solo thing, and the pandemic offered some opportunity for that.
Well, let me ask, let me turn it around. I know I'm not the interviewer, but let me turn it around. Jeremy, how do you know Sunshine? Like, how do you all know? Because you're the one that kind of connected all the dots on this interview. So how do you and Sunshine know each other?
Absolutely. So we're kind of connected through like David Pistorius, my friend Mark Lard, Dr. Funk, kind of a group of bass players. Mark Lard, our friend out of the UK, got us all together. Ellen, the 9-year-old bass phenom that you'll see out there.
You see her everywhere right now.
Yeah. So we all got connected that way, and I met Sunshine through that, honestly.
Oh, very cool. Nice.
And I'm sitting here thinking, we got to get Freekbass in on.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm just, like I said, this is, so here we all are together.
It was all meant to be.
Yeah,
that is. That's great.
Thank you, Quantum Bass. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Let's see who's in the chat. We have Luigi Dawn. We got Mama Cantu. What's up, Mama? We got Lindsay, my wife, in the house. Hello, wife. We got Leaf Arrow, Megan Richardson. We got the whole fam bam. Kenneth, what is up? Thank you, guys. We have our first question for Freekbass. Who's your favorite drummer to play with?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, I've been incredibly lucky to play with a lot of amazing drummers. Like as I mentioned before, Rico, who's been with me for, oh my gosh, 5-6 years now. You know, he's, if not my favorite, he's like one of my favorites. And, you know, we're like very good friends too. And then before him, the drummer that I was very close with was a drummer named Bam. I've actually got his name on my arm. Bam, unfortunately, him and I were touring like crazy. He toured with Boots. He was Bootsy's drummer for a long time in the new Bootsy's rubber band that was touring a few years ago. And Bam, unfortunately, got into a automobile accident and didn't make it. So it was pretty rough because, like I said, besides being one of my favorite drummers to play with, him and I were like very, very tight. Our families were and everything. So that was pretty rough. But he was incredibly talented guy. He was like a comet, you know. I mean, yeah, it was pretty amazing guy. And then so before that, I had a drummer that was with me for a long time named Chip Wilson, who was he was great. He toured with Bootsy. He did a run with Bootsy too as well, and George Clinton. And So again, around here, like I started off talking about, being from Cincinnati, a lot of, especially the funk circle, it's the music circle is already kind of small anyway. Doesn't matter what level or where you're at, and you get in when you start centralizing it to the funk side of things. It's a everybody almost knows everybody within the funk family, especially in the P-Funk family. So I've been really. I'll tell you another drummer. This is really who I love playing with is Nikki Gillespie. I don't know if you all know who Nikki is. Nikki toured with Dumpster Funk. She was with Beyonce for a few years. She toured with her. She's got her own band now, The Nth Power, and she is a monster drummer. Her foot will knock you across the room. So she's definitely in one of my favorites too. Yeah.
Very cool. Very sorry to hear about your friend.
Thank you.
Very tough. And you have been working with such monster players. I used to take my son when I lived in Austin every year to go see P-Funk whenever they would come through.
Oh, nice.
And it's always just such a party, because everybody dresses up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a whole vibe, a whole damn vibe.
It's like the circus coming to town when George comes to town, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Freekbass, tell me a little bit about your setup. What are you working with? It looks like you're in a whole lab there.
Yeah, well, this is my studio right here. And so I started, when the pandemic started, I started doing a lot more. When we knew we were going to be down for a while from touring, so we kind of made a decision. Okay, well, we're going to release one single and one video a month. So we did that all the way up until a few months ago, like literally every single month, new video, new single, new. So I was living down here, and then just recently, just a few months ago, I started streaming on a really incredible platform called Twitch, and a lot of people know it as a gaming platform predominantly, but it's kind of morphed. There's a big music community on there too. So I've got my own Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/freekbass, and everything you see here, all these little crazy instruments around me, I literally just go, just like we're doing right now. I'll go on Twitch and go live, and literally don't know what I'm going to do. I might just kind of start playing a beat, and I'll just start making up stuff. People, the chat, it's very active chat, so people will be talking back to you just like you're having yours right now. Sure. And they'll give me like lyric ideas, or like, hey, play a bass solo here or whatever, and it just becomes almost like it's the closest, without being live, it's that same kind of almost adrenaline rush, and that dancing without a wire thing is playing live. So yeah. I would, if you haven't been to Twitch yet and checked out some music stuff, it's a really cool platform. It's different. It's a little different than Facebook, a little different than Instagram. It's kind of its own thing and its own, and it's only a live streaming platform. It doesn't do, where Facebook does a lot of stuff and Instagram does a lot of stuff. All you do is stream on Twitch. That's it. So, I love it. I mean, again, I'm fairly early streamer. I've only been doing it for a few months. There have been people that have been on there for years, but it's definitely feeling like my home. And this is kind of when you tune into me, this is everything you're seeing. All these little crazy little, like all that. So I just kind of create grooves all around me like that. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Do you want to like lay down a groove or like show us something that you may do on a live stream?
Yeah, this is sure, definitely. Here, I got my bass right here, I think. There we go. So usually what I'll do is like I said, everything I do on Twitch is 100% improvisation, but I'll have like a little bit of like kind of a blueprint of what I'm going to start with. Let me kind of pull down just a little bit, play my bass a little bit better, and over here. There we go. And so, I might I'll program like a cool little drum beat, something like this. And then just add a little bass line to it. So we got that going. Then I got my loop station over here. I might add a little bit just to make it a little funkier, like another little rhythm thing on it. Something like this. Let's see. So now we got that going. Maybe just one little layer on top, something like that. Now we got that nice little layer there. Maybe add just a little bit of funky keys on top. So now we got that. And then, feels like it just needs a little bit of rhythm guitar. Let me just add a little bit of that in. So again, we just keep building and building. Maybe add a little bit of this. So now we got all that. Gotta get a little bit of let's see, we'll do am I pronouncing it right? Like Sunshine Cantu, right? Is that?
Sunshine Cantu, you are here for us tonight. You are here for us tonight.
This will be your theme song.
Sunshine Cantu, you are here for us tonight. 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 Sunshine Sunshine can too. You are here for us tonight. Sunshine can too. You are here for us tonight.
And we can always break it down a little bit like this, you know?
Sunshine can too. You are here for us tonight. Sunshine can too. You are here for us tonight. Sunshine can too. You are here for us tonight.
And there we go. We got the theme song right there.
Sunshine can too. You are here for us tonight.
There you go.
Damn, you made my whole damn year with that.
That was awesome.
That was fun. So that's what I do. I do that. You know, on Twitch, I go on there and I create grooves like that kind of stuff. And then the chat will give me ideas for lyric. They'll be like, you know, it's Saturday night, let's go. And then I'll add that into the lyric or whatever, you know.
Nice. Oh my God, how much fun.
It's great.
It's a whole damn party. It is a whole damn party.
It is a party.
Oh my God. Thank you guys all for hanging out with us. I appreciate it. We are having a good ass time tonight. Ouija wants to know, is there an instrument you haven't mastered yet that you want to learn?
Banjo for me. I've always wanted to learn the banjo. And I know so many bass players, both friends of mine and other bass players I know. It seems like it's a nice general fit because it's such a percussive instrument like bass is. And so that's definitely, and I got a lot of hillbilly in me. So I think I've got the DNA for it, you know?
I've always wanted to learn the accordion, and I hope and pray one day I can master that.
Oh, I love that instrument. Yeah.
Jeremy?
Oh God, I don't even know. Actually, yeah, that it's similar like what Freekbass was saying. I forget it's like a Japanese kodo. You can do like the slap bass techniques on it. And I feel like if I could get a hold of one of those things, I could probably like get some cool sounds out of it.
Yeah, those are dope. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, and they got that droning note that always kind of happens on it too.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think sometimes they play it with like a fan. Like
Right. Yeah. Yeah, those are cool.
So we are getting questions. What is your Twitch URL again, Freekbass?
Yes, it's twitch.tv. So Twitch is not com, it's .tv, and then it's /FreekBass. So switch twitch.tv/Freekbass. So, you know, click on that link, you know, when you get a chance, and then hit the follow button. That's the big thing, because then it always gives you a notification when I go live. So I generally stream, right now I'm streaming Thursday nights at 9 p.m. That's Eastern time. Saturdays at 5 p.m. Eastern time, and Monday afternoons at noon Eastern time. Those are all Eastern time. So I originally was streaming a lot later, but I started having a lot of people, you know, Twitch is very international. It's not just in the States. So there's a big like a UK audience, European audience. So that's why, like Saturdays, I used to start at 10, but I'm just going to start doing at 5, so you can catch some of the people over in the UK and stuff too as well. So, yeah. So, but anybody that's watching, just go over there when you get a chance in your browser. Just all you got to do is hit the follow button, and it'll give you a little notice when I'm on there, and make sure that you tell me that Sunshine sent you that my way when you do it. Yeah.
Hey. Tell me, like, is it a pretty decent way to earn extra money? Because you can actually like get like the little donations and things like that, right?
Yeah, so they have what they have. There's a bunch of different monetary ways on Twitch. There's people can subscribe to your channel, which is kind of almost like a Patreon type situation, you know, and they get certain little benefits. Mostly like there's emotes on Twitch, you know, like just like emotes on your phone, but they're specific to whatever your channel is. So there's Freekbass specific emotes, you know, if you're a subscriber, and So there's that. There's something called bits, which are kind of like, you know, if you're playing and you're going crazy and people can like, it's like their way of cheering you. They give you bits, you know, and you buy bits. And then people can just actually just, there's like a tipping thing on there too. You can do it that way too as well. So, so yeah, it's a really cool, that's one of the side benefits of it too as well. It's the main thing I love about it is engaging with people, because you're like, for instance, my very first stream, I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, oh, I'm just going to turn it on and hope it works. And there was a guy that actually was on from Russia, and he was a fan. I didn't even know I even had a fan over there. And you know, it was like 5 a.m. for him over there when I was on at that time, but he was still up, I guess. And so it's just really cool connecting with people from different parts of the world. You know, it's a really great. I've gotten to be friends with a lot of people on there, not only people in my chat, but there's a really cool music community on Twitch too as well, like just other musicians. Yeah, and it's a whole different, and it's weird. You think that just because, you know, when I was like, oh, cool, I'll just tell people at Facebook and Twitter and everybody will just come over there. I mean, a few do, but you're almost like starting from scratch, because it's its own like community. It's its own like thing over there. So it's almost kind of like touring, except you're touring virtually. So you have to, the more you stream, the more you tour, the more you're going to connect with people. So I mean, there's people on there, I know, both musicians and gamers, that'll stream, you know, 6-7 days a week, you know, 4 or 5 hours at a time, you know. So you're always on there for at least a couple hours usually when you stream, no matter what.
How long do you know? Well, okay, wait. What's your longest streaming session? Are you like one of those like 12-hour marathons?
No, I haven't done that yet. I think I've gone, the most I've done is 3. I did 3 in a row, you know, and I was going to go, I was like, and I probably could have kept going. You get so much energy from everybody. It's hard to actually stop. But, so yeah, but I want to do, a friend of mine that's on there did a 24-hour stream once. So that's something I want to do. Yeah. So I want to do that here, like in the next few months. That's definitely a thing I'm going to do. Like once I get off the road, you know, I got this little tour coming up, but once I get that tour through, then that's one of the plans here in the next few months. Yeah.
Is there like a Guinness World Record of like the longest live stream? There must be.
There's gotta be. I'm sure. My guess it would be a game, or like, yeah, a musician one. I bet in terms of who's done it the longest, I bet it will be a game, because, you know, Twitch has started off as a gaming. Yeah, I would think it'd be a gamer, but there's got to be. As far as a musician, that's a good. That's a cool little Guinness. That'd be a cool little hype thing. Yeah, just like, okay, I'm gonna go and just buckle up on the Yeti coffee, and then I'll be good. Yeah.
All right,
72 hours stream.
Right.
We nominate you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Awesome. Tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into music.
Well, I started off as a drummer, and that was you know, I played kit. I started off on a snare drum, went to kit, and but I was always like, and then I moved over to guitar for a little while. I play a lot of guitar now too, but the bass was the thing that always, like, not to sound cheesy, but it always spoke to me, you know, whether it be in music. I mean, I remember being 6-7 years old with my dad at a hardware store, and a gentleman walked by the store with a boombox, and More Bounce to the Ounce by Zapp was playing. And I just remember, I didn't even know what it was. You know, I was just starting to kind of understand music, but I just remember those sounds coming out of that, I was like connecting with so deeply. And I was like, that's what I want to do. And then when I was in 6th grade in Ohio, there's a music school north. I think it's not far from Canton, if I remember, actually. It's called Oberlin Music College. It's like a private music college. Well, they would have their jazz band would like tour around the state. So I was probably 5th or 6th grade, and they just coincidentally set me like literally right in front of the bass player. And I was just like, my eyes were like so big, and I was like, you know, the sounds that was coming out of it, and it was like so chunky, and like even, I love guitar, don't get me wrong, but like even now and even then, it, like, I always felt like if I play it too hard, I'm gonna break it or something like that. So bass, I always liked the thickness of it, and the chunkiness, and the sounds of the chunkiness out of it. So you hear a lot of times and I interview musicians too, and they'll say, you know, like, why did you play bass? And it's like, well, my brother played guitar, so they needed a bass player. Or it's almost like a secondary default instrument. But with me, it was a choice. That's the one. Like whenever I go in a music store, or I saw someone playing, that's what I would connect with those sounds too. Is still today, I still, you know, just like we are. I mean, I can geek and talk about music gear like for hours, you know. So, and I think all bass players are kind of like that. That's where we definitely have that part of our brain is all linked together that way. Yeah.
I actually got into bass because I actually was playing tuba first.
I've heard that a lot. Tuba and trombone a lot because bass clef, right? Tuba's bass clef, right?
Yeah. Totally. Well, they talked me into it because they're like, well, if you start on this tuba in the 6th grade, we're gonna need somebody to play bass in the jazz band.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of like that's how they got me into playing that big. But now I love it. I love tuba. I love the sousaphone. I put it in any band that I have because why not?
Right. I'm right there with you too as well. You know, and another thing that on the bass side of stuff, as well as bass guitar, it was also like bass keyboard. I was always, even that I was playing bass guitar, I was like the sounds, whether it be Bernie Worrell or like, you know, I was like addicted to all the early Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg stuff. And like those tones, I was like, how can I make my bass sound like that? You know, even that I wasn't playing bass keyboard, I was playing bass guitar. So that's where part of the big love affair with effects and everything came with, because I was trying to like, if I combine this effect like this, can I sound like Bernie Worrell? You know, because he's playing some cool bass stuff, you know, that type of thing, you know.
Bernie, man, what about the synthesizers he used to bring up on stage in the early days?
Yeah, all the Moog stuff. Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
So crazy. Luigi said he'd love to hear you jam with Corey Wong of Volpec.
Oh, nice. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I love Corey. I have a show similar to yours, Sunshine, and I had Corey on the show a few months back. So yeah, Corey's amazing, and he's, you know, funk is very regional. Like, you know, Ohio has a certain sound, New Orleans has a certain funk sound, you know, the West Coast, like Oakland, San Francisco, but Minneapolis, of course, does too. You think of Prince in the time. Well, Corey's from Minneapolis, so he's got that side. As a matter of fact, I think his bass player is from the New Power Generation from Prince's band. So we always joke about that because, you know, I'm from the Cincinnati side of the funk coin, and he's from the Minneapolis side of it, you know.
Jeremy, how did you get into playing bass?
Oh yeah. Oh man. My dad was an amazing drummer. Just kind of fell into my lap. Always being around a musical. But my brother as well is a phenomenal drummer. So I always had the ability to kind of bounce some things off those guys. I remember seeing Fish. Mike Gordon was the guy that just like, you know, just going out partying. And it just, that spoke to me. Seeing him on Weekapaw Groove, I will never forget that. I'm like, I want to figure out how to do that, like right there. So
that and the Freekbass billboards, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, exactly.
Well, it's funny you bring up Mike. That's where Mike and you were talking about the Mad Frog earlier. That's where Mike and I met. Well, I met him actually in New York briefly at this bass player thing, but where we actually talked and connected was at the Mad Frog. Yeah.
Oh, that's wild, man. Yeah, he's just a monster. I'll never forget.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's a big Fish fan. Yeah, just, and then I'm trying to think here. Played a little bit of saxophone too when I was a kid, but I'm just like you. It was always the bass. I never bounced around to really any other instruments. I always felt like if I got on a guitar, like you said it best, I always felt like I was going to break the thing. I'm like, I play guitar all the time, and I still feel like that every time I put it in my hands. I'm like, oh, I got to be kind of careful. I'm going to break it.
That's how I feel with plastic lawn chairs. You just never know if they're going to break.
I hear you on that.
Freekbass, I like to ask all my guests a question when they come on the Sunshine Show. If you could throw a dinner party for any 5 musicians, dead or alive, who would those 5 musicians be, and what would you serve at your dinner party?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm a vegan, so it would be a vegan meal. I can tell you that. So it would be, you know, a different combination of that. We can maybe do a pasta thing because you can do there's plenty of pasta vegan dishes. And oh, the five. So, geez, that's tough. James Brown would be one.
Hell yeah.
Probably John Lennon because he seemed like he'd be a very good guest, you know. And you said they can be living, or most of mine are probably going to be passed away. Probably Stevie Wonder. So we're up to three. Maybe Quincy Jones. That's four. And I'd have to have Dr. Dre. That's still my bucket list. I really want to work with Dr. Dre one day. I always I keep saying if I say it enough, one day it'll happen. Just because I'm so influenced. Like especially you know, as much as I'm into being a bass player, being a producer, music production, something I'm very passionate about. And he is someone that like I've always loved, like the way that he produces. I mean, I was freaking out about this at the Super Bowl this year. Besides the Bengals being in it, which was cool enough, the fact that Dr. Dre was there, he's just, to me, and speaking of, he is the Quincy Jones of hip hop, you know. So, yeah.
Dude, that Super Bowl show was so bad.
Oh, it's so incredible, and you forget how many freaking hit songs because you know Dre produced and co-wrote every one of those songs, and you're like, wow, he did. And they're so hooky, and it was so cool to see him play piano. Like, you know, I know he's a producer, but I don't really think of him as a musician so much, you know, like, I mean, a producer musician, but not like a player. And when he sat down and played piano, I was like, dang, I didn't know that, you know. Everybody was talking about Eminem kneeling. It's like I wasn't even paying attention to that. I was looking at Dre playing the piano, you know.
Did you get to check it out, Jeremy?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I was losing my mind. I had some back to the Cincinnati thing. I had some flashbacks back to 1989 when Joe Montana beat Boomer Esiason in the Bengals in the original Super. Yeah. Oh man, it was a tough loss, but if history repeats itself, the Reds are going to win the World Series next year.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's right. 89, 90. Right. Oh my gosh. You know, I mean, I love the Bengals, but you know, I'm a baseball guy is my main thing. So, well, if we even have baseball this year, fingers crossed, it's looking a little dicey right now. So we'll see.
Okay. I don't know how we got into that from the question I asked you. No,
sorry. I know we went from that to baseball. Sorry. Yeah.
We went the Cincinnati portal. You just got like pulled into it.
That's right. That's right.
Like, what are they talking about?
Okay, so we said Quincy Jones, Dr. Dre,
James Brown, John Lennon, and is that it? Am I forgetting one?
Oh, yeah,
Prince.
5. Oh, wait, who? Did you say Prince?
Did you say Prince?
No, you didn't say Prince.
Let me see. Dre, James Brown, John Lennon, Quincy Jones. And I guess it would have to be Prince. Oh no, Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder. Yes, right. Yeah, Stevie Wonder. Yeah.
That sounds like one hell of a fun party.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't even imagine the album that would come out of that one. We have a comment from Kenneth Muma. How about our own bouffant jellyfish? Do we know anything about a bouffant jellyfish?
That's you, Jeremy. I'm not hip to that.
I don't know what he's talking about. Put
Kenneth,
the bouffant.
Please let us in on this. We're not sure what the bouffant jellyfish.
We need. I'm about to Google that now.
I know that's a cool name, bouffant jellyfish. I like that.
Yeah, I do. I really do love that name.
Bouffant jellyfish, bouffant jelly.
There we go.
So tell me, what do you do besides? So you have a show on Twitch.
Yep.
And you also have a show where you interview people. Is that
yeah, I do that on Facebook. That's on Saturday nights. That's called Saturday Night Chit Chat with Freekbass, and it's a different. You know, I've had anybody on from Norwood Fisher and Fishbone to Dweezil Zappa. I had Mike Gordon was on not too long ago. Laura Lee from Krungbin was one of my first guests.
What?
Yeah. yeah, she's incredible, great bass
Hey,
player. And
drop my name, okay? You know,
oh,
again.
for sure. I mean, I'm a fashion junkie, and obviously she is too. So that was we talked fashion as much as we did bass stuff, but crazy. I mean, it's so cool to see her media, you know, her rise. She's great. She's such an amazing person too, as you know. So. But that's Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time over at my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/freekbass. This week, I actually have a really cool guest. I've got Andy Thorne on, who's the banjo. We were talking about banjo earlier. He's banjo player from Leftover Salmon. And the last few months, actually, besides the Leftover Salmon stuff, Andy has become kind of like a star because he had a video that went viral. I'm talking like millions and millions. Like he was on Kelly Clarkson about 2 weeks ago. He was on AP Wire a week or so ago. He wrote, all you got to do is do Colorado Man Fox, and it's him. He's playing banjo, and this fox comes up to him and starts totally checking him out. Yeah,
I think I've seen it.
oh, everybody.
My wife just brought that up to me before I came, like right before I got like we went on the video here. She's like, this guy like plays some other instruments, and then but then when he busts the banjo out, the fox just like
yeah. So that went viral. Like, I mean, it's up to like 7-8 million things on YouTube right now, and so it's funny because all this he's always joking because they never say Andy Thorne plays for. It's like I think they're not even banjo player. It's Colorado Man plays for Fox. But he's been on everything. He even had shirts made up, these really cool shirts with like a fox with a banjo in it. He's definitely riding the wave, but he's a great guy, and Leftover Salmon's an incredible bluegrass band. So he's going to be on my show this Saturday night at 9 p.m.
That's
Yeah.
Oh, how fun. Oh my.
Wait, when's that again?
That's every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time on my
Saturday
Facebook
night.
page.
I'll mark that
which
down
is
for sure.
Facebook.
I always see you pop up anyways, but I'll make sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can always watch the not a good chunk of the people watch it on the rebroadcast, but it's cool when you're live, as you both know. It's because then you can actually interact with people a little bit when it's going on,
And I did drop that in the comment section. So everybody make sure after the show, you head over to Freekbass's page and go push like and subscribe and all that good stuff so you guys can get all the notifications when he goes live.
Thank you.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about your upcoming tour. Where are you headed? Where are you going? What are the goals? What are you guys getting into?
Well, I'll start real quick. Jeremy, is that okay? If I mentioned, I didn't know if, yeah. I am. So we are starting our first, we're calling it the Funk the World Tour. This is part one. This is just our first leg. We're going to be out a lot this year. So, but this first run, we're starting off Friday, March 25th. That's in our hometown in Cincinnati, Ohio at Ludlow Garage. Saturday, the next day, which is March 26th, we're at a place called Portal at 1512, which is in Louisville, Kentucky. Sunday is at the Summit Music Hall. That's the 27th. March 27th at the Summit Music Hall in Columbus, Ohio. Then Monday's a drive day. Tuesday, we go to Relics Magazine in New York City, and we're speaking Twitch. Relics has their own Twitch channel. So we're going on there. That's the whole band, Freekbass and the Bump Assembly. We're going on there and performing on Twitch at Relics Studios. And then the next day, we're at my favorite venue, one of my favorite venues in the country. We're in Brooklyn, New York at a place called Brooklyn Bowl on Wednesday, March 30th. And the next day we're at the Queen, which is in Wilmington, Delaware. That's on the 31st. April 1st, we're in a place called Goochland, Virginia. And then Saturday we're at Roanoke, Virginia. Saturday, April 2nd at 5 Points Music Sanctuary Music Festival. And then we end off this run on Sunday, April 3rd at Charleston, South Carolina, at a place called the Poorhouse, which is a really cool music room down there in Charleston, South Carolina. So please, anybody, please spread the word. We want to see, no matter what part of the world you're in. And we will be in your part of the world soon. We're doing a whole run out west, I think, in the summer. We're going to be out west for a few weeks. So, but yeah, this will be our first kind of kickoff. And real quick, I'll mention the first three shows, the Cincinnati show, the Louisville show, and the Columbus show. We are doing something. It's Freekbass and the Bump Assembly does Kissadelic, where we're mashing up Kiss and Funkadelic songs and making them into one thing. Yeah, so it's pretty wild. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty wild. So that was originally our original show was going to be on. We're going to do that on New Year's Eve, but here in Cincinnati, because of COVID, everything got canceled on New Year's Eve. So now we moved it, and which is the nice side benefit. It was just going to be one show. Now we're going to do this thing at the first 3 shows: the Cincy, the Louisville, and the Columbus show.
Who came up with that idea?
Well, we wanted to do something special for New Year's Eve, and so we were thinking of like what cool bands would be to kind of combine styles. And then both Parliament and Kiss were both on this really amazing label called Casablanca Records. And so we're like, and they're almost like the yin yang of each other, you know, like Kiss is like the rock version of P-Funk, and P-Funk is the funk version of Kiss, you know, with the costumes and the, you know, P-Funk has We Want the Funk, and Kiss has I Want to Rock and Roll All Night Long, these big anthematic songs. So, and we're not just going out and playing covers of this, we're actually literally we're figuring out ways to kind of blend the songs together too. So it's going to be really fun. We rehearsed a ton for it before the New Year's Eve show. We're going to obviously brush up on it starting next week. So it's going to be, those first 3 shows are going to be crazy. Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God. And so do you guys like dress up in like funky outfits? And I'm sure you do.
Come on now. Come
right?
on now. What do you think?
That's my favorite part.
Yeah, it's going to be, we got some crazy threads for those shows for sure.
Oh, so what is it going to feel like? How do you think you're going to feel when you step on that stage for the first time? What, in over a year you said, or 2 years?
Well, we did a few spotty dates over the summer, you know, festival outdoor stuff, but it was all like, you know, a festival here, a festival there, but we haven't done a whole run, like a bunch of shows together. And again, almost over 2 years. So, I mean, I can't, myself and everybody in the band, we're just so excited to get out there and, you know, see people in person. The energy is so different, as everybody knows, when people are there, you know, the audience becomes part of the band. And, yeah, I'm just super excited. And I will say about the Kiss P-Funk stuff, a lot of the P-Funk stuff I already knew very well already, but a lot of the Kiss stuff I had to learn from scratch because I knew the songs, but I never sat down and learned them before on bass. And I got to give some props to Gene Simmons. You know, I mean, some of his bass lines are, you know, they're a little bit more trickier than you may think. You think, oh, just because he's this bigger than life personality and, you know, that type, you don't think about him as being a musician as much. And some of his bass lines are pretty dope. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God. I'm still just trying to wrap my head around the whole concept. Okay. So I know that you played with the Big Ol' Nasty Get Down, or you do play with the Big Ol' Nasty Get Down.
Ah, look at that. Yeah.
Get down.
Yeah, I love it.
Here at the Sunshine Show, we love the Big Ol' Nasty Get Down. And I've interviewed a lot of the players on John's albums, and he told me a lot about you, and Jeremy as well. And I'm just feel very blessed to finally be able to like talk to you and get to interview you. Tell me what it was like working for the Big Ol' Nasty Get Down.
Jeremy, you want to go first?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm just hanging out, man.
Okay, cool. I just don't know. If you know, just feel free to jump in anytime.
I'm trying to think if anybody out there, if you're bored afterward, pull up a echo chamber by the hill. That's about it. Other than that, man, I'm like just kicking back, enjoying the show. This is amazing.
Oh, okay, cool, awesome. I just didn't want to step on anybody's
I'm not
toes.
doing anything. I'm not doing any gigs. I'm actually gonna take follow your lead on Twitch and start doing a lot more of that.
Yeah, it's a cool. You'll dig it. It's a cool, very cool platform. Super cool. Yeah, as far as the Big Ol' Nasty to Get Down, yeah, John had sent me some tracks and they were so cool. You know, obviously with no bass, and he's like, just do whatever you want. And I don't even think. I think it was just drums. I don't think there was any, so there was no key, you know, it could have been any key, whatever. And so I just wrote a couple different parts to it, and he just kept adding it with other musicians. And I can't wait for this to get released because he sent me like, I think a almost final mix a couple months back, and it sounded so good. And so it's great working with, you know, the amount of musicians that he has on there. And I think, didn't you recently have Billy Sheehan on the show? Not fairly recently.
Yes, I've been.
You know, Billy and I just did a song together that we're doing. The video is going to come out in the next few weeks.
But you did a song with him?
Yeah. It's called
With my Billy Sheehan, the
With
Billy
your
Sheehan
Billy
I want to marry, but he's already married.
That was hilarious, by the way.
I'm serious.
It's a song called Hypnotic Woman. So the single's already out. It's been out for a couple months. It's on, Spotify, whatever you listen to music. And it's just him and I going crazy on bass. We got Eric Nally from Foxy Shazam singing vocals, and Gary Mudbone Cooper from P-Funk doing vocals on it. Joey Porter from the Motets playing clavinet on it. And yeah, so we just got Billy's footage for the video of about a week or so ago. So we just got a few more little scenes to film, and we're hoping to have it out hopefully before we go out on tour. So that'll be out there. Yeah, Hypnotic Woman. It's a really dope track.
So it's basically about me, and Billy's playing on my song.
There you go. You got it.
You
got it.
Make sure and download and look for the video for Hypnotic Woman by Freekbass featuring Billy Sheehan.
And what a gentleman too. Speaking of which, I know you know that more than anybody. I mean, he's like, I met him at Bass Player Live a few years ago. The one out in LA. I'm sure you know that one. And I think it was at SIR Studios in Hollywood. And he was just, I mean, that's the best word I can describe. Just such a gentleman. I mean, he's really is. Yeah, such a generous cat.
And so humble. And
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Kind and sweet, and just
yeah.
I mean, I can send him a message and he'll message me back in like 15 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like I can't even keep up with my inbox, and he's
right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yep.
Oh man, we have been having a good time tonight, you guys. Thank you all for hanging out with us. We're gonna start wrapping this up in about 10 minutes. If you guys have any questions for Freekbass or Quantum Bass or Sunny C, drop them in the comments. It's always a good time just hanging out, chit-chatting. Do you have what's your best piece of advice that you could give us, Freekbass?
I would say this is one piece of advice that Bootsy gave to me, and it's really, really helped me. As we know, I mean, anything in life, but especially the music business, there's so many ups and downs. I mean, you're emotionally, it's like best day in the world, the worst day in the world, best day. It's like, this the whole time. So one thing that Boot told me is don't get too affected by the highs, and then you won't get too affected by the lows. So I've always kind of kept pretty I mean, on stage, I'll go crazy and be berserk, but when I'm off stage, I try to keep kind of, nothing. So that there's bad parts to that too, because you can develop almost a semi-robotic personality sometimes too, because you're just so, nothing's affecting you. And I'm not saying don't be non-emotional or anything, but at the same time though, just don't get if something really great happens to you on a musical level and you get like, oh, this is the most incredible thing in the whole world, when something that's not the most incredible thing that happens to you, you could go the opposite direction. So if you just kind of take everything, I guess an easy way to say it is take everything in stride, and in this music business you have to, because it's constantly like this all the time. I mean, this last couple years will show you that more than anything. So, and that's really helped me to kind of, survive, I think, in this business, as much as possible, and take care of yourself too. I mean, whether it be, going out for a walk or going to the gym or whatever you do, this is, your temple, your body, and that's to play music. If you want to play it for a long time, whether you're touring or you're playing in your own studio, you want to keep your body healthy, and that keeps your mind healthy too.
That is amazing advice. I was going to say, basically, everybody take your medication, okay? Right. I was thinking about bipolar. I'm like, oh, the ups and downs, everybody take your medication.
Yeah, whatever that medication is. Yeah.
Whether that's sunshine, water, the beach, just fresh air, just walk, just whatever it is, just meditation or a walk or sound advice, great advice. Dave asked, what's the next big sound?
I don't know if there's ever going to be a next big. It seems like everything's so niche nowadays, which I think is cool. So whatever thing you're into, there's a tribe out there for you into that, whether it be superhero movies or, gaming or bass players like we are, it's so you know, I think the days of like our parents where, you know, it was like, you know, the Led Zeppelins or the Rolling Stones where there's like this massive band or
Yeah.
sound, I just don't see that happen. I mean, maybe, I mean, I'm sure you know, never say never, but it seems like everything's so segmented and, you know, now with the internet, it'd be hard for something to like, I mean, there's artists like say, you know, Billie Eilish, for instance, right? I mean, she's pretty big, right? But there's a ton of people. I bet you could go to like a mall and ask probably 100 people, and maybe half of them might not even know who she is. You know, like 20 years from ago, everybody would have known who she is. You know, so it's just because everybody's like into whatever their little thing is. You know, so I mean, that's kind of what I think. You know.
Yeah.
Cool.
What do you think, Jeremy?
No, same. I totally agree. It's weird how everything's just like I get like compartmentalized now. It's like it's like everything's jazz, like all over the place.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I wanted to tell you my Bootsy Collins story really quick.
Oh, please do.
So I was at NAMM 2019,
Yeah.
and like I see Bootsy and like he's like floating down to me heaven, but he's like really just riding the escalator and it's getting like taking a really long time.
That's awesome.
And I chased him down 3 flights of stairs before I had enough like balls to ask him to take a picture because I was just like nervous for
Sure,
some.
of course.
But he was so sweet and like so kind. And to me, it was crazy that he was like just walking around like all these people and like a lot of people didn't even recognize him. I'm like, what? It was blowing my mind, dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, and I would say that with bass player. I mean, sure, there might be some exceptions, but I think that's the really cool thing about being a bass player is almost every bass player I've ever met, no matter what level they're at, you know, if they're playing at the bar at the corner to playing coliseums, you know, most bass players are generally pretty cool folks. You know, it's like, I don't know if it's because the instrument we play or the role that we play in a band is different, you know. Now guitar players, not all guitar players, that can be a different whole ilk altogether, you know, but bass players, it's just generally everybody's pretty cool. And yeah, and Bootsy is the cool, like that personality you see, that's real. That's not like something he puts on for the camera. He's really like that. Yeah.
Don made a comment, technology has destroyed the music industry. Do you mean technology like Spotify? Like, could you expand on that, Don? How do you feel about that, Freekbass? Technology has destroyed the music industry.
I mean, I can understand why people say that. It's definitely, you know, it's a weird thing because like where Spotify, I'm very torn on that. I mean, you know, part of me is like the genie's out of the bottle and this is the world we live in now. So you just have to kind of roll with it and understand that's just the way it is. The one thing, you know, the argument for like streaming and Spotify that I think is interesting is I've heard people say, like if someone goes out and buys, I know you're getting like one fraction of what the cost of the song is when someone streams it, but when someone buys your CD or your vinyl or whatever it is, they're buying it one time and that's it. Where streaming, if they like the song or they like you, they're going to be streaming it multiple over and over and over again. So there's that side of it. But still, with that said, obviously it's definitely, you know, it changes the game quite a bit. I mean, I love technology, so I just try to embrace it as much as I can and not get deterred by it. But I have tons of friends that, you know, I have a friend you might have, I don't know if you've had him on the show before or not, Sunshine. Do you know Steve Lawson is bass player from UK?
No, not yet.
Oh, you should have him on the show. He's a great interview. He's great interview. Steve Lawson, he writes for, Bass Player Magazine each month. So he's like in the back when they have like, you know, different instructors and stuff in there, like giving ideas. So I'd reach out to him, but he doesn't have any of his stuff on Spotify or Apple, or he puts all his stuff only on Bandcamp. So no spot. So he kind of drives his fan base just to that one spot, and he's kind of made a decent little living out of it. You know, when I had him on my show, I was like, you know, I asked him how the pandemic affected him. He said it really didn't affect him as much because that's kind of what he was doing anyway before even all this stuff happened because of the Bandcamp thing. So there's ways that you can, you know, manipulate things to work if that's what you want to do, you know, I think.
I'd say to the technology piece also, like I have done just on a personal level so much with just a little iPhone, and then just seeing the connections that I've been able to make with the technology. I would have even going back to like right before all this kind of took off, let's just say like 2005, right?
Yeah.
To be able to do this would have been literally impossible. I'm loving the connections that technology's really given me the ability to make.
Right. And thank God with what we went through in the last couple of years that this was, I mean, this would have been a whole different ball of wax had this happened in 1995 or something like
Could
that.
you imagine? Oh my goodness. What would we be? Like
waiting up for the like for the dial up, you know, like stuff to download like this. Yeah.
In 1995, like, did we still have like those car phones, the bag phones, or was it already like the little?
It's like Prodigy Net, I think was that.
Prodigy Net, right? That's funny. Netscape. Is Netscape still around? I remember like that was one of the first browsers I had. It was called Netscape. I think, that was.
Oh man, I remember like the game Myst on like CD-ROM.
Right, right.
All right, guys. Good times. I have one more question for you. Do you have any tips for building strength or endurance in practice?
Yeah. So one thing I'll do is I toured with this blues musician a few years ago, and so once, and we toured, I mean, she was a blues guitar, her name is Kelly Ritchie, a guitar player, and she toured a ton in Canada. We were in Canada like all the time, but she would tour. I mean, we'd be out a lot. And so, you know, once you learn the material, the blues stuff, I mean, they're great bass lines, but you know, once you get them on your finger, you can kind of put it on autopilot. So what I would do is I would play shows where I say, okay, for this whole entire show, unless I'm soloing, but if I'm just playing, you know, a 1-4-5 bass line, I would not use my index finger. So I would almost give myself a handicap. Yeah. So when I did bring my index finger back in, like, of course I should, then it just made it like it was like a piece of cake. So
you're like swinging two bats. It's like
right, exact same thing. And here's another one like that. And this is what when I teach lessons too. And this is one thing I always say. One of my old teachers taught me this. Like whatever exercise you're doing on your fretboard, try doing it pulling your thumb away. So when you're doing a strengthening exercise and do it like that and get it like that, and then when you bring your thumb back like you of course really will play, it's the same, the two bat kind of theory. It's like it's almost going up to the plate with one bat instead of having that handicap. So
nice. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you at home that have hung out with us this hour with Freekbass and Quantum Bass and your host, Sunny C.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any last words to wrap it up?
We got to do this one more time, a little theme song.
Yeah.
Sunshine can too. You are here for us tonight.
Break it down now.
Sunshine can too. You are here for us tonight.
There you go. I'll give you a little bumper music in the background as you sunshine.
Yeah. You guys, thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. We love you. We appreciate you. Be kind to everybody out there. You do not know what other people are going through. Put a smile on your face. And until next time, keep it funky.